And let's do this. It is the Nightcap, a live version of the Nightcap, right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Lunch and dinner. Time to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off your order. Or go to the app. They'll deliver it pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Chad.
How are you?
I'm tired. Baby was up like 3 times last night. But
they'll do that to you.
They will. Getting to, if she only wakes up twice, that's a really good night. Those are like unheard of nights.
Yeah. I remember those days. I don't envy you at all. Some good news, at least for today, on Kelly. She had a pretty good day. She was up and talking and joking around and not sleeping all day. So that was good. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. But today was the first step in the right direction that we've had in like a week. So we will take steps in the right direction. Let's get to it.
Glad to hear it.
Bearcats 85-69 victory at
nice
the Yingling Center or the Yingling Dome or whatever the hell they call it. It's the last time the Bearcats have to go to that place.
Yep.
So that was a positive.
They hadn't lost there since, what did they say? Since 2012?
I think that was the game that we always talk about. It was an 11 a.m. tip-off. The Sun Dome, as it was called at that point, was being renovated. So they played in an ice hockey arena, 11 o'clock tip, and they lost. It was in the 40s. The final score is in the 40s. I vividly remember having to wake up and be ready to cover that game at 11 o'clock in the morning, being very angry that I had to cover UC USF at 11 a.m. on a weekend, and they lost by 1 against a terrible USF team in a game that I would have had a better time sticking hot forks into my eyes.
Well,
I'm glad I didn't do that, but I wanted to.
Your eyes are probably pretty necessary to your career choice.
To do this, not having eyes would be difficult.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have done the art long and just like burn cigarettes into my flesh.
Yeah, probably not. 85-69 means they did cover the, what was it, 141.5, 143.5, whatever it was.
There you go. Like we were right about the USF part. Like they were under 70.
I said that they would go over.
Yeah, you did. You were right. That's why I don't bet, because I would have thought that under, given the way UC has played at USF over the years, I would have bet your house on the under.
I got greedy and I took a 3-game parlay of the All Ohio parlay, which was paying 2-1, and it was Cincinnati, Ohio State, and Xavier. Xavier game, I believe, is still on. Ohio State pissed down their leg in the final minute against
lost to Nebraska. Ooh.
In the second half against Nebraska. So thanks a lot, Ohio State. You wonder why I hate you.
Yeah. You got to stop with the parlays, man.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
They're just begging you. Like if you bet you bet individually on all 3 things, and you win 2 of them,
then you're up.
Yeah, you're up and not down, or like not just down all of your money.
It's just a better payout, obviously. I mean,
sure, but do you like winning money or losing money? If you like winning money, the parlays are just not. Parlays are like something you do for $5 that's like fun.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot to follow.
Well,
and this was $5 hits.
This was also my weekly bet on Betfred to try and get the free promotions.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like
I know. I'm just saying.
I got greedy. I'm well aware. Again, just thanks, Ohio State.
Yeah. Although Xavier might ruin that as well. DePaul up 52-49 in the second half. Let's go to my guy, Tony Stubblefield. Xavier's going to win the game, but I'm pulling for my guy Stubbs. Love me some Stubbs. One of my favorites. Main story of the night has to be David DeJulius getting back on track, although there are multiple positive storylines from this game that I want to talk about. But Dave has been in a slump. Seeing him go 6 for 6 in the first half.
Shot his way all the way out of it.
Yeah. And he looked like the confident Dave was on his way back. I thought it was a very positive performance from him all around. Still played good defense. He wasn't asked to guard Tyler Harris, which I think kind of helped him. We'll get into Mike Adams-Woods and his performance on Tyler Harris as we go through this show. But the tone was set in the first half by David DeJulius. Cincinnati goes into the break with an 18-point lead, 47-29. The game was never in doubt from there. And you got to give him a ton of credit for hoisting the team on his back and saying, and that's, look, is that a great South Florida team? No. Is it a South Florida team that has been playing pretty well over the past month and a half? Yes, it absolutely is. And Cincinnati dominated. For a team that has struggled on the road, to see what we saw tonight has to be encouraging, Aaron.
Yeah, we wanted to see, you talk about David DeJulius, you talk about Jeremiah Davenport, you talk about Landers Nolly finishing a game. Pretty much all the shooters that we wanted to see have games went ahead and did just that. Obviously, we'll talk more about one person in particular who did not have a good game in Victor Locken later on. But no, DDJ, 7 assists too, on top of the 21 points.
Complete game.
Yeah. And how about the fact that they only had 3 turnovers as a team?
4.
Well, they only had 3 until they held the ball in the last minute.
But it's still because it now no longer counts as tied for the fewest turnovers in a game in program history.
Well,
which is stupid.
Fine, it is right. What it is at that point. But you love seeing that kind of. That's been something. This team has struggled with turnovers in the last couple games, and because they like to stay under that double-digit number. They had 14 last game, I believe, something like that. 17 the game before that.
Yeah.
Good to see them.
Houston.
Good to see them taking care of the ball and also piling up assists as they finished with 17 assists in the game.
I don't remember seeing a half 11 assists, no turnovers. I'm sure there's been something similar.
Sure.
But that's as good a offensive execution half as I remember in a while. And they've had halves where they've scored that many points, 47, 50, 52, whatever. But the execution in this game, first half was especially.
So your Landers Nolly chef's kiss?
And then he gives the 3.
Yeah.
Especially they didn't start great. It was 10-4, 5 minutes into the half.
Yeah. The first 5 minutes, I wrote it in my notes, it was sloppy.
In 15 minutes, they scored 4 points in the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
In the next 15 minutes, they scored 44 points. And they
shot
were
the lights out.
Crisp. They shot open shots. They shot good shots. And here was the thing, and this was in my notes after that first 5 minutes. They got good shots, but they missed them. Okay. Vic had 2 looks at the rim. Yeah. Odie had a look at the rim that he missed. They had 2 good jump shots that they missed. It goes one of 2 ways, right? Either that manifests itself and you just miss everything and you have a half where you score 22 points, Or you keep taking good shots, and all of a sudden, everything starts to fall, and the basket looks like a hula hoop. And for 15 minutes of that first half, the basket looked like a damn hula hoop.
Yeah. I mean, they end up shooting 53% in the first half, 54% from 3, 7 of 13, 100% from free throw. And that's, again, just as complete a first half as you can have. Outside of, even I guess, even with 5 trash minutes. Minutes.
But I still, that's the thing. I don't book them as trash minutes because you're gonna at times you're gonna get good looks and miss, right?
Well, I guess I was because Odie came out and made the first 2 points, and then I expected him.
Then he made the next bet. He had the first 4.
He missed his next shot. I thought
he made 2 of his first 3. He had, when it was 10-4, Odie had the only 4 points.
Well, he also only went 4 of 11 for the night. He's still struggling, but he was getting himself out of it. He had some athletic moves. But in any case, I just thought that it was going to go the other way. When I see it's 10-4, they have a struggle bus of 5 minutes where they can't quite get the offense going. They're moving the ball pretty well, but they're not able to get anything to drive inside. They're not getting any looks down low. They're not getting any open looks around the arc. And
they got looks down low. They just missed. Vic had 2 looks he makes 80% of the time. He missed them.
Since we were talking about how he was leading the conference in shot percentage.
Field goal percentage, yeah.
Or he is not.
He's still second.
Not been well.
Again, people are getting physical with him. And that throws, he still has to get better with his lower body in absorbing contact. I think that's still, critical for him. And look, this is important for Odie. What did we talk about after the game this weekend, after the SMU game? Teams are recognizing now it's 4-on-5, right? So they're not guarding Odie. They're not guarding him on the screen and roll. They're just not tagging him and saying, we're going to play our 5 guys against your 4 guys that can score. Odie's got to be able to have 8 points, 10 points in those situations, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're down low like that, you're taking high percentage shots. There's no reason for him not to have more points. I mean, 4 of 11, honestly, I don't think there's something. It's still broken. It's not fixed.
No, it's not fixed, but it's better.
Sure, because it's not 0 for 11, but
right.
or 1 for 11. But you still, to be taking 11 shots down low like that, and obviously, I mean, some of them are putbacks.
A couple putbacks, yeah.
So that they're not necessarily as high percentage, but to only come away with 8 points on 11 shots when all of your shots are within 3 feet of the rim, I don't view as excusable.
I don't get me started on that's inexcusable. You know my take on that.
You just got to figure it out, and I know that you have to shoot through it and all of that. Hopefully his knee is okay. He looked to be in a lot of pain,
a great deal
on the
of
bench.
Pain. Yeah.
But and John brings it up in the chat here. Kalu played some good minutes tonight.
I was really impressed with Kalu's minutes. I made my funny on social media. It's one of the better funnies that I've made in a while.
But he was 3 for 3, 6 points,
2 dunks,
1 block, and again, I feel like he was moving well off the ball.
Yeah.
And
he was screening and rolling. They weren't tagging him. He was catching it and dunking it.
That's why he ended up with the dunks, is because he was wide open underneath the rim, and he finished.
He's doing what we wanted Odie to do. See, this
correct.
Is the thing. This is the thing, Aaron. This is still a guy that averaged double-digit points at Old Dominion.
Yes, and I know we talk about maybe Old Dominion wasn't quite at the level of the A.
It's the A10, which is not a significant drop from the American.
I don't think so either. So I'm with you. I think that he just, for whatever reason, at the beginning of the season, just something wasn't clicking. Whether it was terminology, whether it was player coach.
I think some of it was he thought it was just going to be handed to him when he got here.
In any case, I think he's taking advantage of the minutes, and if Odie misses any time, I think that we're going to lose some in the rebounding department, as we saw at the beginning of the season. But offensively, I think we'll all be happy with the improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is now proving to be a guy that you feel comfortable. Look, if you go back to those first 10 games, when you saw him come in, it was like, oh shit, here comes an 8-0 run. That's how bad he was playing.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to feel like, okay, all right, let's see what Kalu's got here.
Now, obviously, hindsight's 2020, and seeing Odie go down is not good. So we'll see what ends up being his injury status. But I thought the minutes that Odie was playing at the end there weren't necessarily minutes that you needed Odie out there.
Yeah, but they were hemorrhaging points.
Well, and I think Vic had already fouled out at that point.
Yeah.
So maybe you could have had Kalu out there in some of those minutes, so you're not risking injury to one of your bigs.
I mean,
one of your important bigs, your top 2 important bigs. But
yeah, that's being
very
hindsight is 2020.
I admitted it up front on the comment.
I know. Landers. The rebounding was there again.
Yep.
21 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. That's as complete a game as you're going to get from a wing. If they get it, and you get his revenge game on Sunday, if they get this Landers going forward, this is going to be a tough team to beat, because then you have him coupled with Dave. You have 2 guys that can go out and do what they did tonight and combine for 42. I mean, that's how you score 85 on the road, right? Your 2 best guys. I don't think there's any argument. That's their 2 best players.
Yep.
If your 2 best guys put up 42, you're going to be in a position to win a lot of games.
The thing I was most happy about is, even when the game was completely out of reach of South Florida, Landers still didn't stop. And right. I feel like we've seen him let off the gas a little bit, whether it's
a blowout,
whether it's a blowout or whether they scheme to take him out of the game. Either way, tonight was not the case. He just foot on the pedal and went hard, and I think he scored 6-8 points in the final 5-10 minutes. So yeah, he still just kept going. He wasn't going to be done.
Give us more Brendel locks. Can you spell my name right at least?
It's spelled like the Xavier fan who shouted you out to help you out.
I know. Easy fade. Look, I've contemplated if I'm going to do like a gambling thing, it's just going to be fade Chad. Because it's not my world. It's not how my brain works. I don't think in gambling terms, because for all these years, I just cover games. And I think in win or loss terms. I don't think in what's the over under and what's the point spread. Brian, you should have gone with the spelling of like my dog. Brindle, like Brendel. Yeah, you should.
I was waiting for someone to drop Brad Chendel.
Yeah, well, but I'm gonna look, John. I'll say this about Jarrett. There have been a lot of guys we wanted to run off here, and then they turn it around, and all of a sudden, everybody doesn't want them to ever leave. Has Jarrett developed at the rate that maybe we thought? No. I thought he was going to be a much more significant contributor this year based on the offseason he had, based on his physical tools. It hasn't happened for him yet. But I will also say this. Nobody thought at the end of last year he was going to surge like he did and look like a competent piece. I think that's why everybody was so high on him coming into this year. The last 7-8 games last year, he provided something. I'm not ready to give up on Jarrett Hensley yet.
Plenty of people were ready to do the same thing with Mike Adams-Woods before this season.
And now everybody wants him back.
Yeah.
Now everybody thinks they need Mike Adams-Woods going into the Big 12 next year.
I think everybody 3 weeks ago was ready to be like, if Kalu never plays again, so be it.
Yeah.
And now we're like, oh, he's been working on some stuff. He's figuring some things out. Myself included. Myself included.
This is the thing with Jarrett that I think is much like Kalu. He's got a great attitude. He works hard. He's a guy that's just bet against Louisville every game.
My point, John, is yes, we should be expecting this out of him, but no one was. No one was. You expect these out of your seniors, sure, but I don't think anybody expected this out of him, and people didn't want him here.
Yeah. I'm not ready to give up on Jarrett because I know he's about the right things. I like if a guy's not about the right things, and there have been guys that are not about the right things that I don't mind seeing move on. If I know a guy is working hard in practice, showing up every day, doing everything he can to improve, I give that guy a little bit more rope because that guy's earning your trust with the way that he handles himself.
Well, and it's not as if we haven't seen Coach Wes Miller not bring guys back who did come with him from UNCG. Not everybody who came is still here on this team. Hensley is. So, I don't know. Let's talk about Dan.
Yep.
Dan Skillings. 11 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, a steal. Much better shooting night out of him. 4 of 7, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 at the line. 17 minutes of playing time. Getting quite a bit of run tonight. And you finally saw him. You still saw some of those layups that he's getting a little too acrobatic. And
he had one bad one tonight. I thought other than that, I thought for the most part he was good. He had one in transition where if you just go dunk the damn ball.
Yeah. But he's electric. And you saw it again all night, that first step, which makes if he can figure out threes and hit them again at a 50% clip or even 45, 40 in that range, it's going to make that first step even more deadly. Because if you have to respect the three, like here's my step, shoot. Oh man.
Here's the thing. Dan can shoot. Is he a knockdown great shooter? No.
Not yet.
But he's going to be at some point, he's going to be a guy in that 34, 35% range on his jump shot. And once he gets that, like I want him, I would have him and Landers in the gym at midnight every night, teaching him that tippy toe pump fake.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he combines that shot fake, you have to have the ability to make the shot because nobody's going to buy it if not.
Correct.
But once you start knocking down the shot, and then you can pump fake with his length and his first step, he's going to be a very, very high haircut.
Yeah.
Very high end.
A lot of fun to watch him.
He's getting there. He's getting there. And we're seeing it every game that he's getting there. It's all starting to wake up and come together. There were some people that were talking about his defense tonight. Yes, his defense still has a ways to go, but you know what is fortunate for Dan? His length erases a lot of those mistakes on defense. Where his footwork is not great defensively yet. He still has too many times where his back, he's doing one of these, and now the defender is behind him.
Well, his wingspan's what, 7'2", right?
7'1", around, yeah.
So that makes up an extra, 6 inches?
Yeah.
From his frame?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dan's handle has to get a lot tighter before he learns to step back. Because the step back, that's got to be small area. He's still very looping with his handle.
He does love the baseline though.
He does.
As Samuel said here in the chat, but so much fun to watch him play.
The kid loves ball. Like I think that's the thing I take away from watching him play. The kid just loves to play basketball. And he's a sponge. Like he wants to, but Aaron, I think like from an outsider or like a fan, that's the hardest thing to like understand is there are some guys that genuinely love basketball. A lot of the guys that are more talented don't. They're just more talented, right? Like they just have a natural skill, a natural ability that makes them better than the guy that's across from them. I love guys like Dan. We talked about this in the offseason when the old heads were back.
Yeah.
And Dan pulled Jacob Evans aside for like 30 minutes.
Right.
Just spent 30 minutes like chopping it up with him, trying to like pick his brain. Like those are the guys that you're very confident in their future, in what they're about.
Yeah.
Serial Lover wants to know if Dave comes back as part of the staff. I would guess Dave's going to want to go make some money playing basketball, right? Like you're a basketball player. Go make some money, whether it be in the G League or the overseas route, or try to crack his way to the NBA, which I think we all agree is probably not like the most likely thing for Dave. But after his playing career is over, I could see Dave. One thing Dave loves is Cincinnati. He's made that very clear. If you listen to him talk, if you look at his social media, the dude loves the way Cincinnati has embraced him. So you never know. Holly, I do too. She said, I just love Dan Skillings' energy on this team. Yep. Well, Tyler, here's something you have to consider. You love that Chez has been crashing the boards. Hope it isn't a correlation to Vic not getting that many recently. Chez, by the way, is Landers Nolly. His middle name is Sanchez. So his nickname is Chez. That's where that comes from, for anybody that's wondering. If Vic is blocking out and Landers is getting the rebounds, awesome. Now, I'd have to go through the tape and figure out how many times that's the case, whatnot, what have you. But if that's the end result, so be it. Have your bigs block out and your wings get the rebounds. That wasn't happening earlier this year. Nobody was blocking out, and they weren't getting any rebounds, right? Like, if that's the end result, more power to them. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
Vic will get his. It'll water finds its level. Vic will get his rebounds. Vic is good on the glass. But if his effort blocking out is resulting in other guys getting rebounds, not a problem with that. So Micah Adams-Woods.
Okay.
Not a great offensive night for Micah. That's with as many great offensive nights as he's had. That's okay. Micah was a dog defending Tyler Harris tonight.
Tyler Harris looked average.
And if South Florida is going to look like the South Florida that has been good over the past 5-6 weeks, whatever, it has to be with Tyler Harris playing well. And Micah Adams-Woods eliminated that tonight. He didn't get great looks. He didn't take a lot of shots. He was essentially erased. Like he was getting a couple looks off of like broken plays, transition, offensive rebounds, that type of stuff. But in the flow of South Florida's offense, Tyler Harris was almost a non-factor tonight. And I give 80% of the credit to that to Micah Adams-Woods, who just was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was average. I think he's averaging 18, something like that.
And he's had games in the 20s, in the 30s. Like, if you let him heat up, he's one of those guys. You saw with the one he hit in the first half from the logo.
Yeah.
Like, his feet were on the bullhorns, and he hit it with ease. That's a dude, if he gets feeling it, and your defense allows him to get in a flow, he can be at 25 in a blink. UC's seen him do that when he was in Memphis. He killed UC at Memphis a couple times.
He had the second most minutes on South Florida, and only 10 points to show for it. Tied for the second highest point scorer. But yeah, just I wasn't impressed. Not with who he was tonight. I've been impressed by him in the past.
That's credit to Micah. Yeah, that's credit to Micah.
So I was certainly happy to see that effort out of Micah. Another guy who struggled tonight, though, Vic. Vic struggled on both ends of the court. He struggled with his temper, and he struggled with fouls. There wasn't really a facet of the game that Vic did not struggle in tonight.
He didn't have a good night. I think a lot of it with Vic, he missed 2 easy shots early.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does that, it gets in his head. And he has got to get away from that. He has got to understand. He's got to do a better job understanding. Just keep playing, man. Just keep grinding at it. Keep playing, and the success will come. And it feels like when he has one of those bad starts, the only time I remember that he had a bad start and like rebounded from it was Xavier, right?
Sure.
He was really good in that Xavier second half.
Sure. Yeah.
He's got to continue to mature in that way. And tonight he did not. Now, I probably would have threw the ball at that guy too. He picked him up from underneath his leg and dumped him on his head. I'd have been pissed off too.
And it hit the ref as he's teeing up the guy who did that, but it hit the ref in the hands as he's throwing the tee up. And that's not a good look. And you saw Wes was not happy. You saw Chad Dollar already, I feel like, always has an I'm angry face. And, man, it was even more angry than normal. He was even hearing about it on the bench from Mike Adams-Woods as he was sitting next to Micah on the bench there after that foul.
I love that for Micah. Because Vic sat down to complain. He sat down to be like, man, he flipped me upside. And Micah's like, nah, man, you can't let him. You can't let him, because you know how it is in sports. If you prone to throwing a basketball at you, you do everything you can.
Yeah, poke the bear.
Get him to throw a basketball. At least that's my personality. Not that that's a surprise to anyone.
No one in this chat is surprised. No one listening at a later time is surprised by that comment. No one is surprised.
If I know you're a hothead, I was going at you. I was talking shit constantly, waiting for you to do something stupid.
Literally, no one surprised. But yeah,
it was you all the time.
No. But I don't know. I don't like seeing him lose. We haven't seen him lose control like that all season.
Yeah.
But those are times when that's what's going to separate Vic from getting to where he wants to be, I think, and where he is right now, where he has these up and down nights. And it's a matter of
he's got to rein it in.
Well, it's like Ben Bryant. People talk about how he wasn't emotionally charged up after plays and what have you, but he just kept even keel, level-headed, whether it was a good play, whether it was a bad play, on to the next play. And Vic needs to have more of that on to the next play mentality.
Agreed. 1,000%. Is my internet bad?
It's not been great. You've been pretty choppy here. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It hasn't. I haven't had my thing pop up. It hasn't been an issue. Like
it's been about a half dozen times in the last 3 minutes or so. Just is what it is.
I know. I don't have any control.
Is there a storm?
It's raining, I think. If there was a storm, my dog would be
freaking
at
out
the door of my studio, freaking the fuck out. Give me a break. I tried to log into the radar on the weather app to see what the weather is like out there. I get an ad for The Athletic. Yeah, there's some turbulence in the area.
It's
in the area.
Light rain here, but I'm hardwired in, so
I am too. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm hardwired.
I don't know. That's weird.
I don't either. Anything else you want to get to out of this one?
I don't know. I think that just it's exciting to see this team put it together for 2 away games in a row.
Yeah.
One game.
Your teeth.
One game was won very, very close, and you figured out a way to win when your back was against the wall. This one, a little bit different, but instead of we've seen Cincinnati blow some big leads after getting out ahead, and tonight they figured out a way to win it. Put the game away. Put the bull down.
Yeah, there were people freaking out on the game thread up like 17 with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Were fans really screaming USA at Vic? Yeah, I mean, you got to remember when there's like 73 people in the building, there can be 5 people in the student section, and you can hear it on the broadcast. I did hear that. I meant to tweet about this, and I didn't. There was a when the opposing team fouls and the student section hits them with a "you can't do that."
Yeah.
That happened at one point, and there was like 3 people in the student section at USF that were like, "You can't do that." It was the saddest "you can't do that" that I've ever heard. Memphis at home is beatable. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm
Gotta play
nervous.
well. They're talented. Got to play well. People complaining up 17 had action on the game.
That's probably accurate.
What was the line? Was it 9?
It was 5.5.
Oh, okay. I think Reagan said something about she might have teased it up to 9 or something.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was 5.5.
Okay. I don't know. Thanks, Matt. Great subtweet tonight about Jay Sorolla selling his car on Craigslist and going to Chicago and catching.
Yeah, you've really been on that story of late. That's like the 3rd mention in a week.
I mean, but it's.
Did you just find that story out, or
no?
You okay?
Somebody called me that night as it was happening, and I called the coach at that point in time, and nobody knew. Like, he just disappeared.
Did you leave it alone until you felt enough time had passed before you brought it up?
Maybe. I mean, I've mentioned it a little bit, but the Kalu thing, it just makes it so much more like relevant and current as to this is what happens when things don't go as planned. Yeah, Reagan teased it up to 9. That's how confident she was in this game. We need to get Reagan more run on these shows. We need to have Reagan's gambling segment on the regular shows because she's pretty good at it. Like, a lot better than Ed and you because you like teasers.
I don't like teasers. I like parlays.
They're parlays. Yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry.
That's where the money is.
No, it's not. It's
if you hit,
the money
I know.
I know. Losing the money.
I'm the sucker that they've invented parlays for.
Let me see if there's anything left I wanted to hit on. Not really, I guess. Landers, Dave, Micah, Vic, Odie, Dan, Kalu. I think that about covers it. Look, you've now got 3 road wins in conference, right? You lost at Temple, but you've got 3. That puts you in a position where if you can get on a little bit of a run here. You can get to what we were talking about, 11, 12 conference wins. You didn't put yourself behind the 8 ball. Yes, the Temple loss sucked.
Sure.
But sometimes you need something like that to grow. And we've seen, when you look at this game and Wichita State, they dominated those games on the road.
Yeah. Handily.
This team wasn't capable, really, of that last year.
No.
And you had a close one, sure. But you've had 2 that you've exerted your will on your opponent on their home floor. That is a huge step forward for me.
I agree. It's not day 1 ready for the Big 12 yet, but it's moving in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't even know what the roster. We don't have any clue what this roster looks like.
Sure don't.
When they take the floor next year, so you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. That's the nightcap. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. My internet sucks. I don't know if this is working or not. We'll be back tomorrow night. BCJ podcast, Rocket Truth, all that good stuff. Nightcap. We'll see you soon. This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!